challenge the ideas in the book. You don't have to agree with the author.
Yeah, I don't. Sorry, I don't think he's. She's giving you advice.
For me, when I'm reading articles, when I'm reading research papers, I don't take it for granted. I don't take it as, the Holy Quran, right? I challenge each and every idea. I find what is the author's motivation. What is his message? Is it true? What are the evidence? So when you read, you get excited. I get excited when I read research papers, but that's how it is, like, this is wrong, I don't think so. Yeah, it just makes sense. So when you get excited when you're reading, then you're really reading, critically, not just accepting ideas, and it's kind of boring. That's why I do.
Yeah, read with a pencil and butcher the book, really, yeah. Yeah. Yes? Oh, sorry, he wanted to say something first, I'm sorry.
For Covey's matrix,
yeah.
which is more vital, the urgency of the task or its importance?
He argues the importance of the task is more important than the urgency. So it's you don't want to do reactive work, right? You don't want to just be catching up with things. So this is why it's more important to push everything to here, right? You want to do your most important work and you don't want to do it in a rush, right? This is why it's important to push as many things as you can in this box. So this is, what I'm saying may be wrong, but this is, the point is you don't want to rush yourself into doing things. You really want to do important work, tasks and take your time with it.
Okay, and I have another question regarding schedules. Everyone can make a schedule, but how can someone allocate adequate time for each task on his schedule? Like, how can he give an accurate estimate?
Okay. Well, estimate, remember this thing? Good judgment comes from experience, and experience comes from bad judgment. So you learn to estimate by trying, you just try. It's really like, you're in mech-eng. You try something, and then you see how far off you are. If you're 20% off, you adjust the next time, right? So it's really trial and error when it comes to estimating. Some things are obvious, like you wouldn't allocate the same time for an assignment that you would for an exam. So this is obvious. But for things that are really blurry, just give it a shot and leave a margin of error. Always, this is when the margin helps. And see where it takes you. But set a time limit. And then if you're not done, you're like, okay, I've left a margin of error. I need 2 more hours or 1 more hour. Usually you won't need to leave that big of a margin. But that really helps in that case if you can't estimate. And don't feel bad if you can't estimate, because like you're in your first year, so it's gonna take you. It took me 2 years to learn that proper estimate, really precise. Like it's gonna take me 1 hour and 31 minutes and 40 seconds to finish this, kind of, yeah. Yes.
Do you suggest daily planning or is weekly planning okay? Because I'm a person that I can't restrict myself for the day and say you're going to do this, you're going to do this. I feel bound. I feel limited. Like if I want to do something else, I feel like I can't. So for me, I like to say in this week I'm going to get this done, and this week I'm going to get this done. And then when it comes to doing work, I don't really give it a subject. I say this is productive hours. You will be doing something of school related during that time, but maybe, I don't know, do you suggest it to be better giving it daily or being more specific, or is being broader all right also? Being
more specific is better, especially for schoolwork. You don't just want to say schoolwork because you're taking several courses. So you want to say, no, I'm going to study this course from here to here because I have an assignment that I want to start, so I need to prepare for it. This is something. Also, you want to, when it comes to weekly versus daily, I think doing both is very beneficial. Like you don't want to spend too much time organizing you don't want to spend. This is something that you set for yourself. Okay, I have 2 assignments in the coming week, so by the end of this week I have to finish them. Or something like this. If they're both due on Monday, let's say you have to finish them both by Sunday. But then you have to decide every day what you're going to do, right? Because if you leave it like this, you might, keep switching. This is dangerous. If you keep switching, you start a task and then you realize it's taking a long time. You switch to another task and then you realize, actually the other one was more important, and then you switch. No, you have to stick to something and go with it. You have to push yourself in this way. So both have benefits, and I would recommend doing daily. It's always about zooming out, right? It's you do your daily, and it has to fit in with your weekly, which has to fit in with your monthly, which has to fit with your yearly schedule. But that's a good point. Okay. Okay. So we have 10 minutes left. Yes?
I kind of have a problem in that I can't function effectively unless I'm panicking. So even if it's not even in the sense of like last minute, but for example, I have like my thesis due in December. I have to like try and look at the calendar, like convince myself, okay, it's 3 weeks, get panic, and then even if I do work before I start to panic, it's never as effective as if I have that feeling of in my stomach of like fear that it's impending. And it literally like with everything, unless I'm panicking, it's never as effective.
Yeah. Okay, so put yourself in panic situations. I don't know, a study where there's a fire happening or something. No, really, like I know what you mean. In some things, I'm like this, and there are a lot of people who only work like this. So what you have to do is kind of force yourself to say, no, I'm gonna start with this slowly, or you really have to one-up yourself, you know what I mean? Like in every dimension possible. You have to say, okay, I'm going to start now. If it's not working, okay, I'm going to write the opposite of what I should write, If it's a thesis about, I don't know, the Middle East and something, write it about China and something. You'll find yourself wondering, and then you'll find that it might take you time, and then you might have to, get back on task because it's 3 weeks away and you start panicking. So you're getting yourself into that mode. It's really, you have to force yourself, or you have to trick yourself, or I don't know. Again, there have 5 minutes left. So, you have a question? A question, or is it? Okay. Yeah.
Okay, because I think that the answer might be it's just a matter of discipline. Because I have that problem too. Growing up where I grew up, most students were that way. Like we delay everything and then we work when there's panic mode. But what I learned is that it's all about discipline. So you have to somehow overcome that and think it through and force yourself. You know what? No, I should start. And learn from my bad judgment and start earlier. But I guess my question is, since you mentioned discipline before, and I know that different people have ways of learning discipline. So what sort of tips would you give for people to develop their own discipline in a way?
This is discipline. Yes.
Because I get tips all the time, so I can tell you. No, it's really just to apply to both of them. You can't this is not sustainable. You can't panic yourself into doing things because you shouldn't be panicking about doing things in the first place, even if it's the most stressful final or midterm that you have to take at McGill or thesis or whatever. I know this because I'm going to talk about myself, but I went into engineering and it's not that I didn't want to go, but I wasn't like everyone else who chose to go, for a long story, but I was put there. And every time we had an exam, I would be the person showing up that had nothing to lose, It's I didn't even select this major, I'll just take the exam, And surprisingly, I did really well, only because I always put myself in this situation where you have nothing to lose. Even if you you shouldn't panic in the first place because you have to know why you're doing things. Why are you even taking the course? Why am I doing this? Okay, I'm a student, but it's okay to fail because, the purpose is greater. I could lose 1 year. I could retake the course again. And, it happens all the time, Panicking is not sustainable, and maybe, yes, you have to be disciplined, but you also have to know, why you're doing things, and it's in a month, but also I want to do other things. Maybe I'll get it out of the way so I can, draw or paint or write or do what I actually want to do, and not just really focus on that one thing and panic.
I think what she's also saying is that she can only work if she's panicking, right? This is, yeah. So that's also something, Yeah, but that's, if you, yes. It doesn't work? Okay, we'll have to do a world conspiracy and change the time so that you can think it's ours. Yes, sorry.
Maybe puts well, that's like punishment, but even if it's a good strategy or not available, like say if I don't do this and I
Walk through fire or something.
something
Yeah.
that I give up something I choose the money or like $5 which I or it's the animal's objective that she wants to achieve. And once she starts losing a lot.
That's the opposite of the reward thing. That's
Well, that's what it is.
that's actually good. Yeah,
I did that once.
you did that once.
But not before.
Oof. I have a friend who sleeps on the floor all the time, but it's really that's actually very smart. It's using actually your strategy. Yeah. Oh, okay. We have 5 minutes left. So, any last comments, wishes, things you want to say?
I missed the last reference. Can you go back to
You what? Sorry.
Can you go back to the reference slide?
Which one?
Yeah.
Oh, this one? Oh, okay. Yeah. So these are very interesting. You'll find a lot. I mean, this is not the time management has been here around for a while, so there's a lot of references. But again, it's really about understanding yourself, understanding that it takes time, and challenging yourself and be interactive with yourself, right? Don't be too zoned out in other things. Always be mindful of what's happening around you. That is something that it takes practice, and it's. That's one of the reasons why friends are amazing, is because you always remind each other, right? Have your friends remind you. Take like an oath with your friends or something. Say, okay, guys, we're gonna do these things together or something, and then you'll always remind each other. That's also a strategy, right? So I guess that is it. Unless anybody has anything else to say, I guess we could call it a workshop. Thank you very much for coming, and I think. And if you have any questions, please, I can give you my email, or you can ask now. I'll tell you how much time I'll need to respond.
Okay, thank you everyone for showing up, and we hope you benefit from this.